The Proto Tyrant is one of the most imposing creatures that Rebecca Chambers and Billy Coen will have to contend with during the events of the game Resident Evil 0. One of the first experiments conducted towards creating the Arklay Laboratories' ultimate life form, the Proto Tyrant, or T-001, was an experiment used in testing the levels of T-virus that an ideal candidate could maintain within their system. The fruits of this labor would be the Proto Tyrant, a grotesque failure that would be studied and disregarded in favor of more refined experimentation. The story of the Proto Tyrant as we know it begins with a man named Oswell E. Spencer and his desire to create a virus that was capable of infecting the entire world in one fell swoop. To this end, he would create a secretive laboratory in the Arklay Mountains, bringing dozens of skilled researchers and scientists to the estate in the hopes of achieving his vision. Unfortunately for Spencer, however, these researchers would deem his dream an impossibility, the T-virus that they'd created only being able to infect roughly 90% of those who were subjected to it, leaving a 10% gap, which was well below Spencer's all-encompassing vision. This would lead the scientists to explore other means of bridging this divide, namely the creation of disturbing monstrosities that could deal with the stragglers left uninfected. Early experiments would see the researchers performing animal trials with some of the world's most deadly predators, but it would quickly become apparent that such beasts were impossible to control. This would shift research into the direction of gene splicing, producing even more disturbing abominations. However, these creatures would again fail to meet the need for complex understanding. This would leave the researchers with few other options, and so they would turn to human trials in a new Tyrant project, fixated on creating a super soldier that would be both capable of following complex directives and devastatingly powerful. And it would be from these experiments that the Proto Tyrant would be created. Early experimentation with tyrants would be a difficult process for the researchers. Not only were they breaking completely new ground, but the genetic makeup that an individual needed to be compatible with the process made test subjects very limited. The T-001 would be one of the few to survive, a guinea pig of sorts that would be used to see how much of T could be given to a subject while they remain manageable. The uncertainty of such an exploration would result in T-001 being overexposed to the virus, the overdose causing adverse effects that kept the Tyrant from being viable. Excessive skin decay would expose its spinal cord, its nervous system would become defective, and most importantly, T would erode its mind below acceptable parameters for their needs. These detriments would mark the Proto Tyrant a failure for the Arklay scientists, and it would be designated for disposal as they pursued their perfect BOW. Unfortunately though, before the T-001 could be dealt with for good, the Queen Leech would make its attack on Arklay, causing a full-scale outbreak at the facility, and in the process, unleashing the devastatingly powerful bioorganic weapon. The Proto Tyrant is one of the strongest enemies that Billy and Rebecca will have to deal with during their adventure. A brutal and uncontrollable killing machine, its very existence is a stark reminder of just how depraved the Arklay experiments truly were. And while it may have been an inferior model compared to the terrors Umbrella would go on to mass produce, the ferocious aggression those monsters would exhibit in their most desperate moments can all be traced back to the lessons learned from this so-dubbed failure.